Well, two things. First of all, I have bad news and good news. Bad news, I'm going to speak for 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to torture you with my Israeli accent. The good news that in, I don't know, 10 hours the conference is over. You guys. I want to speak today, not about the Good Neighborhood Project. I think we spoke a lot about that. I want to speak what I call the Holy Water Syndrome, or the Holy Land honey trap. Okay? I'm going to give you my insights about that. But before we start, isn't that the way that Donald J. Trump is the president? You know what? Let's do a thing. Let's wake you up, you guys. Everybody, take out the cell phones. Derek, where's Derek? Take out the cell phones. It's okay. I'm not security. You can picture. Okay, everybody, take out the cell phones. Derek, where's Derek? Derek. Who can play on? Where's the other guy? Never mind. Okay. Look what we're going to do. I'm going to do the Donald J. Trump thing. You guys are going to post it. I hope it will be viral. Trump will see it, and give me an ambassador or something, maybe to the UN. Dorit will do shopping in New York. Everybody will be happy. You ready? Now, let's do it natural, like I'm surprising you. Be ready, okay? Isn't that great that Donald J. Trump is the president? All right. Please post it, please, okay? Please post it. If you have friends in the White House, whatever, please post it. Okay. Now we can start. I have your attention, we can start. Couple of assumptions. The global Christians, Zionists, care about Israel. True? True. They come to Israel or in tours, or I don't know why. I know why, but I don't know how. Getting grilled in Ben Gurion airport for hours. I'm thinking about someone coming to Israel first time. He lands and he says, wow, I'm in the Holy Land. I want to touch, I want to see this guy. And then a security guard says, looking at his passport, and if by coincidence he has a letter in Arabic, bang, start by sitting 5 hours without no one speaking to you. And then tons of questions. Delton has a special chair there, by the way. Every time he comes, he says, Delton, we love you, by the way, but you know the drill. So a lot is coming to Israel because they care. Assumption number 2. And that's a secret, don't tell anyone. Israel, it's a superpower state. It's not Israel before 70 years, Israel has the strongest army in the Middle East for sure. One of the top 3 armies in the world. High-tech country, we develop stuff. So it's not a third world country. Assumption number 3. Israel is very important to Jews, Muslims, and Christians. Take the ancient city. 1 square mile. Number 1 important place for the Jews, the Western Wall. Number 1 for the Catholic world, the church. And number 3 for the Muslims, Al-Aqsa. 1 square mile. So, the question is, how do we stand with Israel? How do we stand with Israel? In Israel, you have 4 security agencies. One is the IDF, we'll talk about that. Second is the police. Third is the Shabak, what we call the local FBI. And fourth is the Mossad. Everybody knows about that, right? Now, I'm telling you, take out the police, take out the Mossad, take out the Shabak, banish them, nothing will happen. Here and there, nothing will happen. Take out the IDF, well, that's a problem. Why do you think, guys, that we as a country, which we are not a big country, investing 25% from our annual budget in security? 25%. What do you think that we send every 3 months the best of our sons and daughters to the army to serve for 3 years, boys, girls, 2 years? Why? Because if you will not have this army, Israel will be vanished in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, guys. And they tried, you know, before a couple of times. Didn't succeed. So, returning to the question, to stand with Israel, so what do? I don't want to disrespect ministries that are doing wonderful things in Israel, like supporting Holocaust survivor, or doing playgrounds, or giving shelters in Gaza. I don't want to disrespect them, that's okay, but you know, it's not standing with Israel. We don't need playgrounds. We don't need bomb shelters, and we really don't need, with something I'm very ashamed of, that someone, no matter who he is, it can be the Jewish community abroad, or Christian community, or I don't know, Buddha community, support Holocaust survivor. That's a shame. For me, as an Israeli living in this, that's shame. But you're not standing with Israel by doing that. It might, give you, you justify your, I don't know, that you want to help. That's okay. So we believe in FAI that to stand with Israel, it's first of all standing with the Israeli Defense Forces, which is a question. How do you do that? Right? I'm assuming that no one expects us to buy tanks or develop a nuclear weapon, right? Even though we have some people can do it here. But we are not doing that, right? We cannot do that. So how do you stand with the Israeli army, which is one of the strongest army in the world? So I can explain how can we stand with the Israeli army. The second thing, by the way, to stand with Israel, in my opinion, it's to stand with the settlement enterprise in Israel. If it's the West Bank, you're going to get a free lunch, this guy. He got the message, first one. So, in the West Bank, Gaza, Golan Heights, and we'll talk about the Golan Heights. So IDF, first part, how do we stand with the IDF? One of the problems of the IDF is the PR. Why? It's a long story. I think the IDF understanding in the last years that, he needs to fight this war of the PR. The problem that the IDF has, everything is a secret. Hush, 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 hush. So when you say PR, it's against the DNA. Took the Good Neighborhood Project. 4 years, we are evacuating hundreds, thousands of people, Syrians, enemy country, to Israeli hospitals, and we are lying to the media. We are lying to the media. Because they're asking, how those guys are coming here? And then we say, the army is patrolling on the border. And then, by coincidence, someone is, we are wounded. God. Why? Army. Once we decided, when we brought FAI to work with the army, we told Delton, listen, one of the terms, you cannot talk about it. Nothing. You cannot say you're working in Syria with the IDF. Yeah. So it took us, almost a year to convince them, hey guys, we need to raise some money. We need people to support us. But that's the army. So the PR sucks. Why? How can you argue with the picture of a soldier pushing someone in the West Bank? No matter what you say, you lost it. So we think that by doing the Legacy Center and showing, for instance, the Good Neighborhood Project. Take the Good Neighborhood Project as an example. Show me an army in the world that helped the enemy. Enemy, not, our friends, neighbors, community, mega church, whatever. The enemy. You guys know we risk our soldiers' life to help the Syrians? We risk our soldiers' life to help the Syrians. It wasn't, robots taking care of that. Think about a Syrian, give you an example. A Syrian wounded, someone is coming. How do we know he doesn't have a bomb underneath the stretcher? It happened. It happened to the CIA in Afghanistan. They lost 8 people. Exactly the same thing. So we are sitting in an army base, having a meeting about it, and someone is saying, you know what? That's easy. If it's a man, we should tell the Syrian, bring him naked, with a blanket, and then we can, before technology came into the process. If it's a woman, can we bring a naked Muslim woman to be checked by an Israeli man? They were not calm. So someone said, okay, that's not a problem, guys. Let's send the dogs. Dogs that can sniff explosives. Now everybody's traveling right over the world. We see dogs. Always when I land in JFK, I have this dog. Why? What a nice dog. Not a big thing, right? Wrong. In the Muslim tradition, a dog, if you are a true Muslim, religious guy, a dog, it's like, for the Jews bringing a pork in Yom Kippur, in Shabbat, to the synagogue and barbecue it. Meaning, even if you are not the Jewish Orthodox, it's unacceptable, right? So how do you respect or how do you build trust with the enemy without honoring his tradition? So we actually took risks on our soldiers' life. Not give you the other side of the story. Think about the scenario. My son is now in the army. That we will have to go to a mother and tell her, listen, you lost your son, your whole world, your son, after you raised him for 18 years and sent him as a deposit to this country, you lost your son because we thought that we should honor the enemy tradition. Who gives a shit? Think about it. Think about it. If someone will come and tell you this, what will be your response? You will kill him. You risk my son's life, my diamond, my treasure. 18 years I'm for honoring the enemy tradition? So by telling these stories up in the Legacy Center in the Golan, that's honoring the IDF, and that is standing with Israel. By people coming to the Legacy Center and hearing these stories and others, and they will go back to the home countries or whatever they come and tell the story, they will be the ambassadors. This is how you win the PR. Now let's talk about the settlement enterprise in Israel. Golan Heights. A disclosure, first of all, I wasn't aware, to be honest, about the biblical part of the Golan Heights. Delton taught me this thing recently. I'm surprised. Okay? To be honest. I didn't know all these things happening there. Because my view for the Golan Heights is something else totally. It's a very important place in terms of security. So look what happened. We took it back 50 years ago, 50 and a ish years ago, and Israelis came and started to do the settlement enterprise in the Golan Heights. But it was a very weird thing because every government in Israel, and to be correct, 5 prime ministers in Israel, negotiated with the Assad regime, the father and then the son, to return the Golan Heights in case of a peace agreement. Starting by Yitzhak Rabin, continuing by Ehud Barak, Arik Sharon, Ehud Olmert, and Netanyahu. Do you know what the Golan Heights people did? What was their response? They didn't went on riots. They didn't block roads. They drank wine, ate steaks, beer, grew up grapes, wineries, cherries, apple, and they won by doing that. Because in the end, the Trump administration came and said, Golan Heights, Israel. So, yeah, they earn it. So you think we should stand with them? We shouldn't support them, tell them, hey, we appreciate what you did here. Golan Heights was gray, nothing. Go and see it today, it's green, it's beautiful. And it's a very, very important place for Israel in terms of security, don't be mistaken, not only biblical. Look behind you, the Syrians were on the top of this hill, bombing this Ahula Valley all day long. All day long. Now, think about if ISIS would be in there now, or I don't know who. So, returning to how to stand with Israel. So you should stand with the IDF and support them as much as we can, especially with the PR, honoring their legacy, hearing their stories, spread out the story, standing with the settlement enterprise in Israel, which is the West Bank is very important, by the way, not only biblical, especially biblical, but not only. And around Gaza, in our tour, I think we stood a little bit with the Gaza guys around the border, which are amazing people. So this is how you do stuff. So, to wrap it up, thank you guys for coming to this conference. Last year it was only 100, now it's almost 400. Next year, I don't know when we're going to fill you up. But it's good. If anyone has a question that he thinks it's an intelligent one, that I will not be insulted, that everybody needs to hear this question, not about checkout. Please ask. Let's see who is brave enough. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you.